It's time to pick a side. The border war is on the air with BG and Tan.
Hello everyone, well, thank you for tuning in again this week. I'm back here with Trommell in case you missed the opening segment for the week. BG, as I said, he was so moved by the possibility of President Trump creating a sixth branch of the military, he went out and signed up for the Space Force. Immediately, he is back from Space Force boot camp. He's not here today, and so you know what that means? That means we are going to talk some Dallas Cowboys without any Redskin interruption. Again, thank you for everyone who listened and downloaded our show last week. We can be found on Twitter at The Border War. If you want to tweet BG, he is at BG_Border War. If you want to tweet me and tell me what a fantastic host I am and we need more Cowboys talk, less Redskins talk, you can find me at TanMan3264. We're on Facebook as well as YouTube. Drop us a line. Tell us you love the show. Tell us we stink. Either one is fine with me. Trommell, you and I both rabid Cowboy fans.
That's right.
Love the Cowboys. No shortage of drama, though. There never is around Big D, especially when Jerry Jones is involved. Well, Dave Halpin from bloggingtheboys.com came out with an article this week, a report that some new names could be in line for the Ring of Honor. Honors, I guess. One name, Gil Brandt. If you're a Cowboy fan, that name is not unfamiliar to you, but one that is kind of shocking. You know, this is what we're going to talk about here for a few minutes. Jimmy Johnson. His name is finally popping up.
Yes.
What's taking so long?
Pride is why it took so long.
That's got to be all it is.
Pride. It's all pride from Jerry Jones. Pride from breaking that team up. His own wife said, you just had to mess it up. You just had to mess it up. And he should have been in the Ring of Honor. I mean, other than Tom Landry, who has a statue outside of the stadium, you have to mention Jimmy Johnson as best coach since Tom Landry. Hands down. Now, I'm a Bill Parcells fan, but for what Jimmy did for the Cowboys, bringing the championship, making the dynasty, bringing the Cowboys back, making us that cornerstone of the 90s, that has to be recognized in somebody's building. And why not the home that he created the dynasty in, the Dallas Cowboys?
I tell you, I just find this, to be very interesting, and it's because any time that the topic has been brought up, I know ESPN did a big interview with Jerry Jones a few years ago, a big piece on him, and he talked about a lot of different things, and one of them was the relationship with Jimmy Johnson. And he was very careful with what he said, to the point that he basically, cameras rolling, hey, man, we're live, we're recording. They asked him a question. I wish I could remember exactly what it was they asked him, but it was something Jimmy Johnson related. And they asked him, and he started to talk, and then stopped. And you could see him look down and look around the room. And I want to say it was regarding the possibility of him going up. And he just kind of looks around the room and very carefully finally comes back and says, well, those decisions are mine. Just basically wouldn't even acknowledge that, that he deserved to be up there.
Spoke all around it.
Yes. And so, like I said, the fact that this is even being considered now is just fascinating to me. Has anything changed?
Well,
they thought I don't know. I don't think that they really had anything more than a casual. I'm sure if they run into one another at a function or something, I'm sure that they don't purposely avoid one another. But I don't think that they go out of their way to be friendly to one another.
Well, I kind of look back on the situation that they had a reunion for the championship teams and Jimmy was present. And they said that Jimmy and Jerry really looked like they had ironed some things out, and they were pleasant and happy, and everybody had a great time together, and you could see those two conversing in that type
I hope
deal.
so. My goodness, it's been over 20 years.
I think with Jerry, it's just the thing of pride and people around him finally listening to the Stephen Joneses of the world and his wife and the people that saw the dynasty and were witnessing it. And it just comes a time that you have to lay your pride down and give that man his just due. And you don't get to that point without a Jimmy Johnson.
Well, I tell you,
You don't.
If you haven't gone through and researched how the divorce between the two came about, I encourage you to go out and dig that up because it is fascinating. Basically, Jerry Jones gets liquored up at a hotel bar and says, anybody can coach this team.
Right.
The reporter goes, oh, yeah, okay. Comes back to him the next day and says, look, this is what you said last night. Gives him a chance to pull it back and says, look, I'm going to run it if you don't. And like you said, pride kicked in. He said, no, run it. And kaboom, the bomb goes off. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end to what should have been, another couple Super Bowls.
At least 2 or 3 more. Easy.
Yeah, they should. They won 3 out of 4 years. I think they should have definitely won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
I think if Jimmy Johnson is coaching that team that lost to San Francisco in the title game that year, between the Super Bowl teams, then that wouldn't have happened.
No.
And they would have just steamrolled San Diego in that Super Bowl, just like San Francisco did. I'm of the opinion that Jerry is he's getting a little older. Mm-hmm. He's said basically that he's willing to sell his soul for one more Super Bowl. So he's I think he sees that the finish line is closer than it was not too long ago. Do you think that this might be perhaps trying to tie up some loose ends before he kind of turns things over to Steve? Because I believe Steven's running most of the show anyway right now.
I most certainly agree.
I think Stephen Jones is calling a lot of the shots down there in Dallas right now. But is this maybe Jerry's way of, like I said, tying up some loose ends before he kind of steps back publicly if he hasn't done so privately already?
No doubt about it. And I think the more you have an absence of the playoffs, an absence of Super Bowl appearances, and you have these reunions from the Emmitt Smiths and the Michael Irvins, and the man they're talking about is my coach Jimmy. So you can't get around Jimmy Johnson if you're Jerry Jones. And I think you're right. I think that twilight is within reach, and I think that with the sources around him and just pride being put aside and looking at the success you've had throughout your tenure in Dallas, you have to credit that to Jimmy Johnson.
Right.
No question.
Well, you always hear about the kids, the knock on the Cowboys, and we hear it and just roll our eyes. I know as Cowboy fans is that they've only won X amount of playoff games in whatever it is, 20 years, 25 years, something like that. Man, this is like the thing that's, to me, bigger picture, the fallout with Jimmy Johnson, to in my opinion, has held.
It's like a black cloud over.
Exactly. It's been a black cloud because it's like we've never gotten beyond blowing this thing up prematurely. And even after they won the Super Bowl with Swift, but that's Jimmy Johnson's Super Bowl, all right.
Yeah.
And they had some more good teams. They played out the string with Troy Aikman, and then we know what happened after that.
Right.
Quincy Carter and Ryan Leaf. Don't even get me started.
Quincy Carter, who won a playoff game.
Stop. No, he didn't.
Got us to the playoffs. I'm sorry. He got us to the playoffs. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
That's my guy. But, shout out to Quincy Carter.
No, Quincy, if you're listening, no, you don't get a shout out. You're terrible. You're awful.
I had that man's jersey.
You should not have told that to anyone ever. But like you said, to me, this has been a black cloud. that's hung over this team because they've never been able to escape the success that they had there. Because even today, they're always getting compared, kind of like the Lakers. They're always going to get compared to the past success that they've had, and I think this may go a long way in hopefully repairing that and maybe taking the monkey off some of them's back, so to speak. I mean, Dak Prescott wasn't even alive the last time we won a Super Bowl, probably. I mean, he shouldn't be saddled with these expectations for something that he had absolutely no idea was even happening.
That's right. They're talking big threes with him and Zeke and what was Dez Bryant back in last year, but we're gonna always chase those shadows of that dynasty.
Yeah.
And I think it's about, even if we won one, we would still, it would shake that monkey a little bit, but the expectations of another dynasty, even if we won one,
I think because we would be young. Yeah, you would look at it and go, Prescott's son, he's 24 or whatever he is, and you would go through and hear all these, all the ages of these guys. I think that would be more of the reason for those expectations. Real quick before we shut this one off, saw an article today, the Carolina Panthers. Someone said that the biggest draft mistake the Panthers have made in the last decade. Would you care to take a guess? The biggest mistake that they've made in the last decade. See if you agree with this one.
The biggest mistake that they've made is probably when they let Steve Smith go.
It's basically drafting Kelvin Benjamin, which is right after Steve Smith. That drafting Kelvin Benjamin was the biggest mistake that they made. I saw that today and almost fell out of my chair. I mean, the guy had like 1,000 yards. He had like 9 touchdowns or 10 touchdowns his rookie year. Then he tears his knee up. He comes back. All right, he's out of shape. Yeah, he's never the same guy. But some of that's not all his fault. I think that was that's a little unfair when you look at this is the same team that drafted Jimmy Clausen
right
in the second round, and you want to call Kelvin Benjamin
your biggest mistake?
Your biggest mistake? Come on, man.
It's hard for me to get into Carolina's picks. Even the McCaffrey pick, I didn't understand. You need a real running back that's gonna go.
You don't like the McCaffrey pick?
I don't like the McCaffrey pick. You don't need a scat guy. You need somebody that, because when you had D'Angelo Williams and Stewart could still carry a little load, but getting older and slower. But you want somebody that can get up in there and make a play, make something big happen.
I think that's why they brought in C.J. Anderson this year. So I love the McCaffrey pick because you can do. He's a Swiss Army knife, man. You can put him in the slots. You can put him in the backfield. At Stanford, you can't run between. That's what he did at Stanford. He ran between the tackles at Stanford.
He didn't run it between the tackles that well in the NFL though.
Well, but they didn't really ask him to do that,
right?
And when you've got Cam Newton turning around and handing the ball off to a running back, 25 times a game. I mean, that's not really what he does. To me, the biggest mistake that team has made, and this article may have been focused on the draft, but we'll expand on it, is letting Josh Norman go for nothing. That whole Josh Norman fiasco a few years ago, where you give him the deal, give him the franchise deal. His agent kind of jerks you around, so you pull it back, and then he comes to you and goes, "Oh no, sign the deal. I want the deal. I don't know what that guy was doing." He fires that guy, and you said it with Jerry Jones a few minutes ago. Pride kicks in, and no, we're done. And to this, even still now, they're still
hurting in that position.
And they're still looking for somebody to really jump in and be that number one cornerback for him.
And Josh is still a star. Still in your top 10 of cornerbacks. Yeah, that was a terrible transition right there. But Carolina, what you said to C.J. Anderson, that's a typical them type of running back. Just middle of the road, serviceable guy. He ate our lunch when we played Denver last year. Yeah, but I don't think the personnel of the line. I think that they really wanted to protect that investment in Cam Newton. That you invest in your O-line And that's been the tale of the tale with Carolina. If Cam can stay upright and not get killed and knocked out the game, then they have a chance. And they just consistently will not address those issues. They say people was hurt. We had 3 or 4 starters hurt last year. Well, draft. That's what the draft is for. I mean, you have one of the sources say there he's 24 ranked. What was Cam's ridiculous? 15. It was
19.
Ugly. But
19.
Cam,
He should have been 33rd.
But how does Cam Newton look behind the line of the Dallas Cowboys?
It looks terrible. I don't want that bum. I don't want that guy.
Man. Yeah. Cam Newton behind the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't want that guy.
You don't make that trade for Prescott and Cam Newton. Right now today, even swap. No, and the money's the same. One guy goes in, or the other guy comes to Dallas. You don't make that trade for Cam Newton.
Man, I will latch on to whoever's playing quarterback for the Cowboys, and they will immediately become my dude. Like I hung on to Tony Romo.
Tony's my guy. I love Tony.
No. Yeah, we've already established Quincy Carter is your guy. Tony Romo's my guy. Dak Prescott. Yeah, you got the Quincy Carter jersey. I got the Tony Romo jersey. Dak Prescott's my dude, man.
I like that. Dak's my guy.
Like I don't want to get rid of that guy. I want to keep him forever and ever and ever. I mean,
yeah, he's a leader. I like him. He's the kid won us 13 games his first time in the
I think he's the yin to Ezekiel Elliott's yang.
I agree.
I mean, they're just complete opposites. I think that the two of them balance out perfectly. Yeah, they're the same age. They came in together. Yeah, it's not like Dez Bryant, where Dez was kind of a holdover from the old regime.
Mm-hmm.
A little older than everybody else. I think Prescott and Elliott came in together. They're gonna go through the battles together. No, I wouldn't mess with that.
So you don't like Cam Newton and Zeke Elliott? Okay. I know Radio World is scratching their heads right now, but I would love to see that option with Cam to keep it or Zeke to take it. That's big time football. I'm sorry, but hey, we like who we like.
All right, guys, that's it for this week. We want to make sure you know again. You can get us on Twitter at The Border War. I'm at TanMan3264. Hopefully BG will be back next week. If not, I know who to call.
Bring me back, man. I had a great time. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, absolutely, man. We appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you, like I said, make like our page on Facebook. It makes everybody else mad whenever you share our posts. So please do. Again, follow us on Twitter. Let us know what you think. I'm the Tan Man for my man Trommell, the guest host. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next week.